support Sheikha Musa bin Nasser in her expression of condolence and sympathies to the new King of the United Kingdom, King Charles III, the royal family, the government and people of the United Kingdom, on the death of the late Queen Elizabeth II. She was a dignified head of the Commonwealth of Nations, an organization of which Ghana is a proud member and will be sorely missed by all. I'm honored to join you to observe the third International Day to protect education from attack. I thank the Director General of UNESCO, Madame Audrey Azoulay, and Her Highness, Sheikha Musa bin Nasser, the founder and chairperson of Education for All, a great champion of education and a tireless SDG advocate, for their kind invitation. Indeed, through the efforts of Her Highness's Foundation, in collaboration with Plan Ghana, some 90,000 out-of-school children in some of the most deprived parts of Ghana have been successfully enrolled in school. The stellar work that Education for All is championing across the globe must continue to be an inspiration for all of us. Education should be a right which all of Africa's youth can exercise. Today's youth running barefoot to school could be a future leader of the arts, business, industry, or government. Education is the equalizer of opportunity, and it is the catalyst to the transformation of societies and nations. In the words of one of the greatest, if not the greatest son of Africa, Madiba, Nelson Mandela, education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. As a matter of fact, realizing SDG 4, which demands that we ensure inclusive and equitable quality education and promote lifelong learning opportunities for all, will be crucial to achieving all the SDGs by 2030. We cannot eliminate poverty if citizens are uneducated. We cannot create economic growth and decent employment opportunities without investing in education. And neither can we deploy successfully science, technology, and innovation to solve many of the challenges we face with poorly educated populations. Without education, our hope of creating the future that we all want and need will certainly be a pipe dream. Sadly, however, millions of children the world over are being left behind. Made worse by the COVID-19 pandemic, it is estimated that some 250 million children did not go to school in 2020. Many communities around the world do not have access to schools, teacher resources, and overall quality education. If we do not act now, the prognosis is that in a decade, some 850 million children, that is half of all young people in the world, will not have the most basic skills necessary for the jobs of the future. Unfortunately, as our world endeavors with great difficulty to provide education for all, attack on education continues unabated across the globe. This is a great tragedy of unconscionable proportions. I've been saddened to read from the recent Education Under Attack report, which tells us that in the last 2 years alone, there were more than 5,000 reported attacks on educational facilities across the world. And together with incidents of military use of schools and universities, Some 9,000 students and educators in some 85 countries were injured, killed, abducted, arrested, and detained. These inhumane actions are totally unacceptable. We must be unequivocally condemned. Together, we as leaders have the political will and influence to drive the change that we want and need. We must, with a sense of urgency, intensify efforts to ensure that our children have a safe and secure environment in which to acquire the knowledge and skills they need for the future. We in Ghana have put in place measures to help guarantee a conducive atmosphere for education and learning to thrive. The free senior high school policy, introduced by my government in 2017, is guaranteeing a minimum of senior high school education for some 1.7 million children, the highest such enrollment in our history. We're providing learning opportunities for our children so they do not become a tax of recruitment by those who seek to attack education. As we squarely condemn unwarranted attacks on education, going forward, I propose 3 crucial courses of action as follows. Firstly, enhancing advocacy for action. We must continue to leverage key regional opportunities to garner political will and rally support of all stakeholders in all member states. This will be a powerful way to keep the agenda of protecting education from attack at the forefront of global, regional, national, and subnational discussions. Secondly, establishing regional coalitions for regional action. We are at the point where the advocacy, commitments, and momentum need to be translated into concrete actions. The most recent data on attacks on education confirms high levels of attacks in countries in West Africa. This is indeed a worrying trend that has to be addressed urgently. We must act now to defend the region in cases where there are systemic attacks on education. This, together with the coming into force of the historic United Nations Security Council Resolution 2601, passed unanimously by the Council, will give us a fighting chance. Thirdly, mobilizing financing. Parties must support diverse funding channels by humanitarian or action groups, spearheading efforts to address attacks on education. We must also continue to make education a national priority by increasing the scope and quality of educational programs. In conclusion, Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I assure you that Ghana stands ready to support the call for global action to protect education from attack, leveraging the privileged role that we have as a member of the current composition of the Security Council of the United Nations. And to this effect, we call on all member states to abide by United Nations Security Council Resolution 2601 and to work towards developing concrete national action plans to guarantee safe schools and protect education from attack. The time has come for all of us, as they say, to walk the talk and mobilize the needed resources to combat attacks on education and ensure a safe and conducive learning environment for all children everywhere. We must do so in order to achieve our shared goal of safeguarding the right to inclusive and equitable quality education for all our children, particularly for those in conflict areas. I thank you for your attention.
Mr. President Nana Akufo-Addo, Your Excellency, thank you for your words.